Okay, so the introduction that I put on the beginning of to all of these is we're going through The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. It's about taking lots of little steps that if you take them all the time, every day, will give you the slight edge, and they're easy to do, but also easy not to do. And this is one of the key diagrams in the book, that if you keep taking the steps to give you the slight edge, then eventually it will make a big difference and lead you in the direction of success instead of failure. But the difference between those two states can be quite small. So it's about small things that you do repeatedly. So we've reached chapter 6, which is called The Slight Edge Principles. And principle number 1, he says, is show up. So show up at the gym, show up at college, show up at school in this photo. And in our business, show up at your meeting, on the phone to make calls, at 5 a.m. for that training. Show up to follow up on your prospects, show up to invite your prospects, etc., etc., etc. But if you don't show up, then you don't have a chance of doing any of it. And then once you've shown up, be consistent. And yeah, there isn't a good place to put that, but that'll do. So show up and do it every day. In this chapter of the book, he talks about his daughter who went off to college, and suddenly she was in lectures with 400 people, and she found that quite intimidating after being in a relatively small school. And she was really worried that with all these other people in the same class, they would all be better than her, and she wouldn't do very well. And after the first 3 weeks, she was turning up for lectures, and there were only about 70 turning up. But she was one of those 70s, so just by turning up, she was putting herself near the top of the class, assuming that they weren't going to make very much progress without attending the lectures. So showing up and doing it consistently can make a big difference. So principle number 3, have a good attitude. And what he says about that is be a giver, not a taker. To provide a service to people. And beware of cuckoos. And he defines cuckoos as being negative people, people who will dim your energy and cause distractions. And I found a picture of a cuckoo chick, because of course they lay their eggs in other birds' nests, and here's a tiny bird giving up all its energy to feed the cuckoo. And you want to avoid that, because actually you can't even serve the cuckoos if it's taking all your energy. So to inoculate yourself from the cuckoos, maintain a positive attitude. And it suggests surrounding yourself with a mastermind group. Like, I guess this group, the 5 a.m. group, the prosperity team that we're all a part of, lots of positive people, and embrace the funk. I can really relate to this, because when things start to go wrong and I'm not being positive, I start beating myself up for not being positive, and it sends me on a downward spiral. And that that doesn't work. So just accept it when things aren't going right, and return to the positivity. And as he says, you can't know happiness without knowing sadness. We're going to experience all sorts of feelings and have all sorts of thoughts, but just choose the positive ones to keep repeating. Yeah. And he talks about the happiness movement. It made me remember a book from, I don't know, 20 odd years ago called Happiness Now, which said happiness is a choice. It's a choice you make. It's not something that happens to you. We decide to be happy, and people who are happy all the time, that's largely because they've made that choice. No, I can't get rid of that completely. So yeah, this was just a picture I found, but surround yourself with happy people, recall positive memories, and just choose to be happy. So number 4, be committed for a long period of time, so that you give yourself time for the slight edge that you're creating by doing things consistently every day to make a difference. Wait to grow your harvest. And the tomatoes are on the plant on the right that's slightly hidden. So we find out what works, and we repeat it over and over again, which for us is finding prospects, contacting the prospects, inviting the prospects to some sort of presentation, handling objections, signing them up, following up if they haven't made a decision yet, and then training, and repeat the cycle. So doing all those steps over time, and being committed to keep doing them all the time. And he says, plant the seeds without looking for the results, because if you spend your time worrying that nothing's changing, you're not actually doing the steps that cause the change. Which I guess comes on to number 4, have faith. Have faith and a burning desire. And successful people look at a problem and they see it as an opportunity, which I guess is part of the positive attitude that definitely helps. If it's not working, change your philosophy. One of the things we've done recently on the 5 a.m. training is to read a book or listen to a book that says get as many no's as you possibly can in a day. Have a target for the no's, because that actually increases the number of yeses. So you can change the way you look at things, and it makes a big difference. And then have the burning desire to keep doing what that consistently. Consistency seems to come into most of these. Be willing to pay the price, which for me made me remember the video clip that's played at the beginning of a lot of the leadership calls with Keith and Kalpesh. Leaders do it and do it and do it and do it and do it until the job gets done. And I can't manage the Southern American accent, but we pay the price by doing what it takes to keep doing all the steps. So the diagram is from the book, and it's suggesting that when you apply all those principles, what actually makes the most difference is principle number 7, the final principle, which is to practice slight edge integrity. So do all of those, even when no one's watching you do them. Do the things you said you were going to do long after the mood that you were in when you said it has left you. Just keep doing them, make them habits, because they work. It's not particularly exciting. None of this is particularly exciting. The results probably will be, but it's about consistent new habits. I was going to say hard slog, but it doesn't need to be a hard slog. It's just implementing new routines that do the things that are going to work for you. And in terms of our business, it's doing all the steps in our business, even though no one's telling us to, not relying on our upline or other people to motivate us to do the things that make our business work. And we can use the slight edge as a structure for that. But it's about discipline, hard work, and desire for change. We've been looking this week at the different color personalities on the 5 a.m. that Big Al Schreiter was talking to us last week on this training about, and I was looking at this final slide and thinking, well, those words aren't going to work for a lot of the color personalities. If you're a blue, then discipline and hard work maybe doesn't turn you on. So find the words that will motivate you. Do it because you can make a difference to other people, you can help people. Do it because it's going to give you success. Doing it because you're going to learn a lot by doing it. So find what works for you, but keep doing the steps. So that's the end of the slides, and I'll stop sharing. And very happy to take questions, or more likely any comments from anyone.
Okay, that was really good, Jill. Really, really good. I just wanted to recap on it, just to go through it so people could think about things. And I'll tell you what I got out of it was really the showing up is so important. You know, I think the thing that Boris keeps saying all the time is you need to be in it to win. And you know, the thing is, there are certain things that need to do. And remember, we as a team are doing more than what the company is providing, more than Kalpesh is providing. We're providing training that nobody else is doing. And what I do note, and I've spoken to Boris and Volker and everyone else, is our team is growing much faster than a lot of the teams out there. We're achieving more in less time. I know sometimes we don't compare ourselves with other people, etc., but because of the things we've introduced, it's making a massive, massive, massive difference. And even for you individuals who think you're moving slow, you're not, because the average person in network marketing, let me tell you this, average statistics across the board in their whole lifetime will only sponsor 2 people. So that's a lifetime. In other words, if somebody's in this business for 30, 40 years, the average person will only sponsor 2 people. And I know in our team, we've got a lot better than average. And that's important. So if you sponsored more than 2 people, you're better than average. And that's most important to understand. And because of what you're going through, because of the training, because of the regular input, this is why this is happening. So the consistency is there as well, which is really important. You know, one of the things I always say is I promise myself, and I'm not promising anyone else. I'm accountable to myself. And I promised myself I'd sponsor 1 person per week. We're now in week 32, and I've actually sponsored personally 31 people. I haven't gone 31 wide. I'm adopting a similar system to what I did in Epic, and I'm that my previous company, where I've actually gone 20 wide, and now I'm placing people under people. I'm making the weaker legs stronger. So I'm not actually personally sponsoring anymore, but I'm adding them to the team. And I believe that's the way forward for me. It doesn't have to be the way forward for you. It's up to you how you do it, but that's what I choose to do. I think it comes from my strong Christian principles in helping people, because you don't know, I don't know what people have been through in their lives. You know, people have been through so many different things. We don't know whether they've been through good times, bad times, and indifferent times. And it's important not to judge people either until you really, really get to know them. So from my point of view, if one team's weaker than the other, I'll help that team grow. And that's what I'm going to do. And that's the principle I'm going to apply in my business. And I believe it'll work very well, because imagine the situation where your top 20 people are all earning money and growing consistently. They're going to start working it. You know, they're going to start working it well. So having a good attitude also was covered there, which is really, really important. And I don't know whether I've talked to you about this before, but attitude is so key to everything. And where you are on the attitude curve, I was taught this a very, very long time ago. If you imagine drawing a line through the middle of a page, if you literally draw a line through the middle of a page, and then you draw a graph where it goes above the line and below the line, well, that's what generally happens. If you imagine below the line being sort of, I wouldn't say depressed, because it'll be a different sort of thing for us, because we're getting a lot of positive, but it might be that you're not happy with yourself, that you're a bit upset with yourself. So below the attitude line, that's what happens when you're not doing something that you feel you should be doing. But really what we should be doing is aiming to have that up and down movement above the middle line. So when you're at the lowest point, you're still above the good attitude. So give you a scenario. Many years ago, I used to have a lot of road rage in me, in the sense that I used to get upset if somebody cut me up, or I used to get upset in traffic jams, and I used to cuss and scream and shout and honk my car horn. I know you guys wouldn't believe this, but I used to do that, and it didn't help me, because by the time I got to the end of the journey, I was very stressed and angry and upset, especially if I was late for something. So I learned to deal with that, and how I deal with that now is I say to myself, well, is it going to affect me in 5 years' time? And I think, no, okay, don't worry about it then. I'm just going to be late, and that's it. So really, you need to sometimes look at why you're angry with the situation. And if it isn't going to affect you in 5 years' time, if it isn't going to affect you in the future that much, then don't really worry about it. We worry about too many little things, and those little things can build up into big things. And that's how it happens. It starts off with very small things. You might be angry with your partner, you might be angry with something else, and then all these little things add up, and it gets worse. So it's important to stay, stay within the positive in the attitude curve. The other thing that we talk and should talk to new people when they come in is about being susceptible to the negative influences of other people. And this means not just people that they talk to. It could be their spouses, it could be their family, it could be somebody that's very, very close to them. And sometimes people get influenced by that. So if you actually pre-warn people and tell them to expect people to react to what we're doing, something new. People always react to new things, and it's hard for people to sometimes comprehend what we're doing, because it's so far outside their mindset where they are themselves, and if people are not ready for something like this, they will sometimes be very negative. So it's important to actually be aware of that, and if you're aware of that, it's important to warn or pre-warn your prospects, so when they have it happen, they'll say, oh yeah, Huntley, tell me about that. So I'm happy. Yeah, that's all right. I understand my wife was going to be a bit negative, and that's why, because Huntley has already told me. So it's really, really important to do that. And the way you protect yourself, from all the negative influences, because I know in the group occasionally people post things and somebody's getting angry or upset with something, current situation, right? What they're doing, they're converting to a new website, and I've been in companies that have done this, and I'll tell you what, from our point of view, they're working wonderfully well, because I've seen some major problems when this sort of thing happens. You think about it, they've got 1 million people migrating over to the new system. They've got to get it right for every single person, every single penny, every single unit, hyper unit. It's a lot to do. And I think people expect instant success, because don't forget, when these people haven't done it before, they're having to deal with it as it moves through to the new phase, as they move things through. So don't have a go at the company or anybody else, because they're doing their best. And I'll tell you what, it costs millions to do what they're doing, millions. And we sometimes aren't aware. I know Hope Hill, who's compliance officer, had a lot of complaints from a lot of people, and she just got fed up and wrote a note to everyone, which is right. I think she should have written that. I really do, because I'd be fed up if I was there as well. So again, association with positive people. We stick with each other. We stick with people who are actually positive in the meetings, etc. We're not going to have to worry about things like that. People will actually be uplifted, and that's what you look for. You look for people who are going to uplift you, and obviously be happy. And being happy is being grateful. Being grateful is be thankful, because wherever you are, you're better off than someone else, and that's always important to understand. Just because you're not where you want to be doesn't mean to say we can't be thankful for every day. Just to wake up in the morning is a big thankful for me. I often think to my second heart attack, I don't know why God spared me, but if he spared me, I'm going to make sure that the second half of my life is going to be a bit better than the first. What else we got? Yeah, harvest will come. Plant, cultivate, and harvest. And that was something I learned through Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn was an amazing person when he was alive, and he still is. His legacy still goes on. So if you guys look Jim Rohn up on YouTube, you'll find some fantastic videos in there, and they always relate to the seasons, and to a lot of his stuff comes from the Bible. And I know there's a lot of stuff in the Bible that's actually good in terms of how to run a business, good principles. So you know, it's really, really good to sort of follow some of those ideas. And then faith. Okay, what are we doing with faith? We're believing something before we see it. You know, when you plant a seed, it goes underground, you don't see it. You don't see it for ages. Some plants take absolutely ages. Some plants take a whole year before they appear. And we believe it's going to come. So that's what you want to do with your business. You want to get people to believe that, you know, it's going to happen. But for different people, it'll come at different times. And you remember, I always say freedom isn't free, and each person has to pay a price. Now, I don't know what that price is. And I feel maybe I've paid the price for the last 35 years, because some of the things I've had to go through are quite, well, I wouldn't say awful, but have been quite demanding on my life. So the point there is that, you know, it's taken me that long to get to this point, if you like. I haven't just suddenly gone from zero. Yes, okay, since I joined Hyperfund, it's taken 6 months to do really, really well. But if you think about the whole scheme of things, think about where you were 6 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. There's a story there, and sometimes that story involves learning, that story involves losing, that story involves, you know, a lot of trauma. And sometimes we have to think about that. You know, people don't get where they get to just like that. It's not a magic bullet. It just doesn't happen. It's not just luck. There's a lot more to it. And sometimes we have to understand that. And that's why we tell stories as well, because stories actually develop people, and you understand where people are coming from and where they're going to. The story of a person is their story of their challenges, their lives before now. So hopefully all of you, I know, are going to make a great success of Hyperverse now when we go into the new year. And I'm looking forward to the call. As far as I know now, from looking at all the times, I've got to work this out, but it's actually at 6 a.m. sorry, tomorrow morning for us. Not tomorrow morning, sorry, Monday morning, yeah? Is that right? No. What is the 8 plus GMT then? I'm confused now.
Yeah, so for people in Hong Kong, it's 8 plus GMT, or
is that what it was?
or people
in Hong Kong.
somewhere else.
So what is it for us then? What time is
2
it, so we can get
2 p.m.
2 p.m. and that's a definite, is it? Okay, I need to promote that more, because it's been a bit confusing there, because they've said GMT. They haven't put the Hong Kong time. They put on one of the things, they put GMT plus 8. So that's probably what it was. They didn't put the Hong Kong people are plus GMT 8. So I suppose that's what it was. Okay. No, that's it. So it's 2 p.m. is it today?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, sorry, yeah. Tomorrow. Okay. I'll make sure I get that posted everywhere. Great. Okay, so let's open up to everyone else. We've got a few minutes till 10, and then we'll shut off at 10. So can we let me open up. Anybody wanting to say anything? I'll open up the Zoom actually, and you can unmute yourselves or put your hands up, etc. Uju, you want to say something? I noticed you've just come, or have you?
I'm just coming in.
Okay. We just finished the session.
I was for a long time last night, so I just got up.
Okay, no problem. No problem. I have recorded this, so it will be released soon. Okay. Okay. Anyone out there who wants to make any comments on today's book of the month? Anything they've learned from it? Anything they can add to? Huntley?
Yeah, sorry, Derek. Just going on about what you were saying about faith. Obviously, faith in the company, faith in the whole concept, and I think that you can draw a lot of faith from the fact that when you join these meetings and you see the amount of people that join in and are consistently there, I think that can invoke faith in what you're doing, which I think is really, really important, because I think there was a new member who was speaking about a friend of his that was quite well off, and he was ridiculing him, saying it was a pyramid scheme or Ponzi and usual rubbish that they speak about, and he's determined to prove them wrong. Well, I think if he attends certain meetings, I think that it'll build up his faith. And I personally sent him a message and said, look, you stick with it, stick with the community, and attend the meetings. You will prove them wrong, because although this might appear too good to be true, it is good and it is true. So I think people just need to stick with the belief in the whole of the company, the whole of the enterprise, as it were, and attend the meetings, like you say, and that will build your confidence and belief. So I think that's really, really important. It certainly helps me. I actually look forward to coming on to this, because I think you can feel all the positive energy off everyone, and I think that's the step in the direction that we need. So I hope that helps that a little bit.
Yeah, no, thanks, and Anthony, it's good to hear other people's points of view. Anthony, did you want to say something?
Good morning, everyone. Yes, very, very quickly. Huntley, you're right, actually. People panic, all right? And I had that, actually. When the site was down, all I got was so many messages, and it's because people have not plugged in, all right? They have no idea what's going on, and suddenly they come up with this, and it's like, what's happening? It got so worse that they panicked me a little bit as well, and I was thinking, like, hang on a minute, I know what's going on. Why should I be panicking? And I quickly sent a message to Derek. It's like, and it was just that the volume of people that came in, none of them had plugged in. Anyway, I went back to them and sort of send them messages saying, nothing to worry about, just understand, I've been on the Zoom trainings, I've been, I've been watching all the different stages of what's going to happen, and I send them screenshots of the, of the program, and of the timeline, and apparently that is the thing that was missing. The people didn't know the timeline, and they just panicked. And the only way to understand this system is to plug in, learn, and join us. It's don't if they miss out, then obviously they're missing information, important information. But anyway, they're not worried anymore. They've got faith.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And another thing important about what Anthony was saying, right? We need to make sure our team's informed. Don't expect me or Jill or the leaders in the team to inform your team members for you. It's down to you. And I would actually individually contact people about something like this so that people are aware. It's important, because at the end of the day, like Anthony was saying, if they're not informed, then they get panicked and they don't know what's going on. They're suddenly trying to log in and they see all this new stuff, and then they can't do anything, can't see where their money is or whatever. So it's important as people who've sponsored people to make sure that everyone in your team's informed. There's no way around that. The bigger this gets, the more important for leaders to inform their team members exactly what's going on, and even the passive ones, by the way, because I do this on a regular basis, and I've got, I think, something like 10 people now who are no longer passive, because I kept informing them. I kept sending the presentation. Every time there's a presentation, I send links to all the people I personally sponsor, and I send information to all the people. So therefore they're getting the information, and some of those people were actually passive. So they're no longer passive. So guys, don't stop sending information until somebody tells you to stop sending information, because at the end of the day, it's almost like when someone subscribes to your YouTube. If they want to unsubscribe, they can. They just have to tell you. And if somebody does that, then just tell them why you're doing it. And if they still choose to not want the information, that's their choice. But most of the people will want the information, because it's just some people. Also, I've got a person, for example, my personal trainer. He doesn't like all the noise. There's too much noise. I said, you can switch off the notifications. That's all you have to do. And he just couldn't do it. So he came out of the group. So I have to now send him information to keep him informed. He came to me and said, what's going on with all this? Because I'd told him already about it. I said, we're changing, the way we operate. We're changing the site. Everything's been changed. But anyway, the point there is it's down to that information, and making sure your team members are informed. And it doesn't matter if it's 2 or 3 people in your team, yeah?
Yeah. One more thing, Derek. I was so confident with everything that was going on. I put in another 300 at you as soon as I was able to. So it was like, what am I waiting for? I got paid. There was some spare money down there. I thought, what do I do? Put it back in, put it into, Hyperverse. So yeah, on the first day when it allowed me to, I was just waiting. The moment it allowed me to, I just did another 300. So
Yeah,
it's just, it's just going to go. Yeah.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Okay, thank you, Anthony. Hi, Boris. Are you? I know. I don't know how long you've been in. If you wanted to add to any of the conversation that's going on.
I have just jumped in.
Just jumped in. Okay. We were doing the slight edge, and we were talking about people showing up and consistency, and then we're talking about susceptible to the negative influence of other people, and about the attitude situation and faith. And then we started talking about what's going on recently. Anthony was actually just relating the fact that his team started panicking because they were not informed. They didn't have the information to tell them what's going on. So suddenly they start panicking because they can't get in the back office and everything else. So yeah, that's what we are talking about, what's going on at the moment. So it's good. And we just clarified as well, it's 2 p.m. tomorrow. I got confused with the times. So it's 2 p.m. tomorrow that we're actually going to have the meeting. Are you going to be in the UK by then?
No, I'm flying. I have to be 11 o'clock in the airport. I think we're flying. The first flight is, I think, around 1 o'clock. So I'll be between Natal and São Paulo on a flight when it's happening.
Okay. Brilliant.
Don't worry, Boris. We'll have it recorded and we'll send it to you on WhatsApp.
I'm sure the company will record it. So
Yeah.
Now the event of the year. I'm sure they'll record it, so it's no problem at all. I'm not worried.
Yeah. Just on another factor, guy, metaverse. Metaverse is something that's happening all around the world currently. The trend is metaverse. And for those who don't understand what metaverse is, it's almost an alternative reality. It's a virtual world that's been created for people to actually trade in and live a life in. You can have avatars. I know it's going to get a bit complicated, this, but you can have avatars of yourself where you can clone yourself and live different lives in different parts of this universe. So it's a bit far-fetched, I know, but the gamers are going to love it. You
know what, Derek? The Facebook is actually developing this in our building. Where I work. Mm-hmm. They've got the whole of the building up there, which all the youngsters are coming back in. They've got about 1,000 computers been delivered as we speak now, and this is where they're developing that stuff. It's just a small hub until they get their new building somewhere around King's Cross area. So, yeah, it's called Meta.
Yeah. Well, that's why what do you call it? Hyperverse. That's why they're actually entering this field, because there is money to be made. By the way, guys, it's not for fun. We're not going there for the gaming, etc. But I do know the gaming world makes masses of money. Prize money is, in excess of $1 million in some games, sometimes 100,000 a day people can make. So games is something that people love to do. Kids love to do anyway. So it's part of the future, I suppose, really. I don't know how much you know about all that sort of stuff, Boris. You might know a bit more than me.
No, not really.
Okay.
My son is a professional gamer. He's got, 3 massive screens, and all he does is gaming. I wish he did something else, but in his spare time. But that's his hobby. So, yeah.
Well, you might be able to get him into this then if it's involves games. Yeah.
Well, I think so. Yeah, he's not doing anything with Hyperverse. I've funded him, and he's just sort of watching it grow. But if he gets into it or does something with Meta,
maybe you can ask him to actually help you with explaining how Hyperverse works on the gaming side. Once they're in, we'll find out on Sunday anyway. What we're going to do.
I think they need to bring the age limit down, because right now it's 18.
Yeah.
And this is really for people that are much younger than 18.
No, that's right. No, it's good. It's all good. So yeah, anything else, guys, that you want to add to today before we close off?
I wanted to add something. So I had a on Messenger. I had a, what do you call it? An invitation by somebody. You know. Well, I thought it was Kalpesh Patel. So he pretended to be Kalpesh, joined me, and he was asking me to join a new system. And I was thinking, why would Kalpesh send me another message? Because I'm already in touch with him. So I just messaged him and said, what are you doing? He said, look, this is a private message because I'm setting up a private system. And I said, but you've already told us that Hyperfund was the best system and there's nothing like it. So why are you presenting with something new? And he then asked me to join him on WhatsApp. So I did that. And again, something wasn't right. So I sent a private message to Kalpesh Patel on the link that I know. And he told me it was fake. So anyway, I've reported it to Facebook. And I'll send you the the link just in case, because he's got Kalpesh's photograph, and he's trying to reach out to people on.
There's a few people like this, Anthony. I had people talking to me saying, have you requested a new friend group and all that? So the first thing is the picture of me is with a colored picture around it that I wouldn't do.
Okay, so Kalpesh's was the same. He had Kalpesh's picture, one of the new ones, and a new telephone number.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of con artists out there.
I got also approached through Telegram by a Patel. It didn't say the first name, so I assume also first of all that it was family. But then I was like, something is off, so I stopped communicating at all.
So just to make sure, Kalpesh has only got two numbers. He said one number for over 30 years, which he currently uses, and the new one is from the Dubai number. So he says anything new, he says it's not him. So just to be clear there.
Be aware of fakes, okay? Because there are a lot of them out, especially where there's money concerned. The more they appreciate that this is super successful, the more people are going to ask you to go into other things.
And what I do now is, if somebody approached me to Telegram, I first do the search in the Kalpesh team. If I see the name in there, then I just know that the person is going to pitch me for something else in the Hyperfund. So I right away, let them pitch me, and then I say, how's Hyperfund going? And then they stop.
Okay. Yeah, no, just be aware of that, guys. Even in the Kalpesh team, unfortunately, they don't screen the people in there. So they actually start pitching me on a regular basis, and I just block them. I don't even go into conversation with anybody.
I think this can be preventable. You are able to inform the fraudulent lines so that it will be preventable. It's happened to us, and then it should not happen to other people. So we need to stop it. Then it's a better way to you can call police and compliant. There is an ID theft, fraudulent lines, special lines available. Probably I can share the number with everyone, and then we can stop it as a team together. We can
put in the group. Put in
absolutely.
the group,
yeah, absolutely. We need to prevent that.
I know the people that actually came to me about my Facebook page yesterday. I said report it straight away, and then I had a message from Facebook saying that they're looking into it. So
and another vigilant thing I would like to explain. After I joined Hyperfund, I didn't attend any other phone number not registered in my line, unless if I see is a legitimate one. So we don't have any obligation to answer every call. So make sure you don't need to do the same thing. That can also mitigate many kind of unwanted connection, unwanted information. Because I'm coming from very quiet security background. What I'm saying, there is a people purposely called us and phishing information from us, and they can manipulate and back behind the scene. So that's why we are not allowed to give anything unless we genuinely refer from our one level above or one level below. This is the way we have to play this and safeguard our system completely. And one important thing from my team, none of them complain about Hyperverse. because I completely informed them.
Inform them about it, yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't complain anything. I was very cool. See the changes, how it's transforming. It is a metaphor, definitely.
Yeah.
It's a change from one phase to another phase called metaphors. So it's absolutely lovely. The systems looks beautiful than the previous one. So yeah. Absolutely fine.
No. Just on that Facebook thing, by the way, guys, people are approaching me on Facebook regularly to be friends, and they've already friended friends of mine. So in other words, got me thinking, oh, they're associated friends. And then when I've gone to talk to them a bit more, I don't actually friend them until I actually talk to them. I find out, first of all, who they are. But if you don't want to go through that process, I would actually suggest you don't make friends with people you don't know, because it's really important.
And just one last thing, because you talked about Facebook, if somebody sends you a friend request and you look in the URL, and in the URL their name is not in there, don't connect, because anybody that is legit would have their name in it.
In there, yeah. Okay, no, that's good to know, Mona. Yeah, good. Yeah, so just be aware of that. I mean, I think sometimes also when you're in the big groups like we are, like Boris, me, and all that, people are going to see that we're amongst the successful people. The other thing also is I've got a badge around me in the Facebook, so if anybody knows about Hyperfund, they know that V3 is quite a good level, so they sort of attack you, not attack you, but go for you more and try and get information out of you. So just be aware that there are people there who are going to try and approach you because they're thinking you're investors and you're potential investors for whatever they've got. And it might be a scam as well. It might not even be real. So don't think that anything out there is for real, because people have put money. I've already heard thousands of people have put money into other things and lost thousands. So really, it's not worth looking at anything else. Yeah, Debbie, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting a lot of messages at the moment as well. So it's I think you have to use your intuition, and just think, well, that's not right. People always want to make money out of you, or it's I think because I'm networking a lot, and I speak to a lot of people in LinkedIn and Messenger and things like that, and you're going to get people who want to scam you and whatnot. So I think you just need to use your intuition and just stick to the people that are actually in hyperverse, I think you're always going to get, and then you just block them, like you said, Derek, and not think anything about them, because I'm just like, block. Block. I don't know how many people are blocked this week.
Yeah, best way.
It's what it is. It's obviously because we're speaking to a lot of people, and even people you've never met before from all over the world. You are going to get people who,
Yeah, don't stop speaking to people, obviously, and don't stop contacting. But you be in control instead of other people being in control. That's the best way.
Yeah. And anyway, I'm loving the journey. I mean, obviously this week I've had a friend in hospital, so it's been a bit up and down for me with the consistency and things like that. But life gets in the way sometimes. But you get back on it, don't you? When things like that
that's
happen.
right. That's right. That's
As
right.
you say, I think life throws things at you, because we're here to learn and grow and evolve to be who we're supposed to be in this life. What God wants us to be, because it's like you said, like the last part of your life, Derek, is not this part of your life, and I always say that God has a bigger plan for everybody. It's tapping into what that plan is.
Yeah, that's right.
Your divine purpose. It'd be amazing if everybody in the world knew what their divine purpose was.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be, wouldn't it?
The world wouldn't be a mess the way it is at the moment. So anyway, that's me.
Okay. No, that's all right. Thank you very much. Huntley, you wanted to say something as well?
Yes, cheers, Derek. Debbie, actually, just thinking about it, you were saying you've been less active the last few days. So think of this for a positive thought. You might be less active, but you're still getting paid. How good is that? You're getting paid for doing nothing. So it doesn't matter if you take a week off, you're getting paid.
That's a good way to think. Yeah.
one more thing, Huntley, you're right, actually. We've had a memo from our company, and what they've said to us was, in fact, it was last month, anyone who misses 1 day of work loses all their bonus, okay, from now till Christmas.
Wow.
So, and that memo was very strong, and everyone was panicking. They're saying, look, you know, a 1 day off, I've got to come into work because, you know, after working like 29 days, on the 30th day of your sick, you lose your bonus for the, you know, for the whole month. And that's a big bonus we get, you know. And so nobody's been off sick. So unfortunately, one had COVID symptoms, so he had to go off sick, and he lost his bonus. So what I say was,
because it's COVID.
yeah, well,
Oh,
you know, yeah, you can't. You have to attend work to qualify for the bonus, and Hyperfund, whether you're sick or not, you still get paid.
Yeah.
So you know,
Anthony, you need to tell them that they need to come and join the Hyperverse, and then they can sack the boss. Don't worry about the bonus, because V2 and V3 gives them a much better bonus than they'll get there.
well,
yeah, definitely.
they're all lined up. I've got one already. So the next are like, you know, they're still. It's sometimes, you know, you can't force anyone with this. You know, they have to just see it. Now that I'm able to show them my back office, before I never used to show them anything, right? I used to just tell them to come and attend the Zoom. And you know what? There are so many people who kind of just don't have the time, or they don't put in the time to do things. So we have to use something a little bit different. Maybe, you know, they see the joy in me and the difference that, you know, that I make. I go into work. I love what I do anyway, but financially I'm not worried like I was last year. Last year I was like, you know, in quite a serious bad space. Derek knows my story, and I didn't. Although I'm very good at hiding the pain, I only share it with, you know, with a few people that matter, because I don't want people to, you know, to feel sorry for, you know, they see a nice house, they say, oh, Anthony, you're doing really well, you've got a good job. No one knows the financial troubles that you're going through. And since my wife lost her job, I was made redundant for a short period of time until I was called back. But all my money that I had, you know, my pension, I had to take off 25% of my pension just to keep us going for a whole year. And, you know, and obviously that's because I'm 55 plus, I was able to take off 25% tax-free. So that hole is now being filled by Hyperfund. So, you know, it's crazy stuff happens. But with the opportunity we have now, we have a way of coming out of it, you know. So I'm super happy, super blessed with this. So thanks to Derek, really, for you know, always plugging in. He never gave up. He kept on saying, Anthony, just join. And I was like, Derek, I don't understand this. You know, digital currency. I am, you know, I do what I do, and I know what I know. This thing is new. So he said, just come in, start off with something small, and then learn. And when he says learning, I love learning. So, I mean, I'm learning all the time. So that was what I did. I just carried on learning, and yeah, it's getting better. And then I used to watch Boris actually during Christmas, you know, with another system I think that they had. I didn't understand it. Boris was actually very good, but I didn't know what they were doing in that, you know, on this presentation. But I just liked the way he spoke. He was so powerful and so good, but I was thinking, have I got time to do this? And then Hyperfund came through, and I still watch Boris. So thank you, Boris. You know, your deliverance and the way you communicate with people, and you know, yeah, business sense. You're a very, very good speaker. Very, very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony.
Maybe Boris wants to have the last word before we close.
No, I was just,
Okay.
when I was listening to Anthony, I was thinking like how many people probably we don't know, they're like you know, in a tough spots. I see even here in Brazil, people even, you know, they almost like they try to put a good face on like how life is, but once you get closer to them, that's not what really is happening. life has shaken everyone, like seriously, like over the past probably 2 years. And as Anthony was talking, I was thinking like we should probably now from the new year, we should start educating people on how to start putting like maybe 10% of what they're earning into hard assets, and to start really thinking about, you know, almost outside of the system, how they can secure like their future, because now people can build into the future that they want. In the beginning, obviously, it's super difficult, but as people start to, you know, plug in and grow, and they start to understand the system, and they start to use the leverage mechanism, which is not just the 3x, but the rebuy mechanism that can accelerate. And if they're doing a good job in helping the company to grow, then the company obviously rewards them by releasing their contracts much faster. And much faster is a big deal, because effectively it allows people to, instead of waiting like for like normal circumstances, a salary at the end of the month, in this case, not a salary, but a commission, to come much faster. So instead of like getting the salary at the end of the month, which will be the analogy, they can get paid within 2 weeks or 1 week from the moment they start working. So this is a big deal for people, because the minute they understand this and they embrace this, then they can start accelerate their growth and their journey to the point, to the destination that they'll say, okay, now I feel good. I feel good about my finances. I feel good about, you know, everything that is taking place. I'm not worried. Now I can start thinking about this plan 40-40-20. I can start to apply this plan, although it's highly recommended for people to start applying it right away, because the only way any of us stand a chance to ever be financially free, to ever have the ability to, you know, control your own destiny, is really to live in a very small percentage of what we're earning, and everything else I allocate. This for taxes, this for reinvesting in myself, in my business, and growing this small number to a level that is like you're comfortable and you're happy, and you have something to put aside. Doesn't matter if it's like for a properties, or if it's for a something that is tangible, and like, you know, if anything happen, you have something that you can count on. So I think it's a good idea from the new year for us to start just talking about these things, but showing by example how this is done. So people that are interested, they can plug in and they can start thinking about this type of things.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I totally agree. It's a good way to think. And guys, we're not just thinking about what you're earning out here as well. We talk about the view. Excuse me. Talk about the future in terms of where your wealth is going to go. It's not just going to be in hyperfund. You've got other assets as well to realize. Joy, you wanted to say something?
Hi guys, yeah, just a really quick one. When you guys were talking about trying to find prospects, something came to mind that might be helpful. Sorry about this camera. One of the things I've done is, like, you know, when you get people coming to the door to try and sell you stuff and you just try and get rid of them, I always say, come in. And I let them do their thing, because they're not going to listen to me until they've kind of got their thing out the way. So I politely listen, etc. And then I get in a conversation with them. And then I just say, you know, because I was in sales for years, and I just say, you know what, I used to do what you do. And I just get chatting, and I just say, now I'm earning such and such without, whether I get out of bed or not. And, you know, they're salespeople. They're doing a job they hate. They're motivated enough to actually turn up at my door. So they're actually the kind of people that are really worth prospecting. So all these people that we all avoid, like, you know, the RAC guy at Tesco's and whatever, I always make a point, and I go up and I proactively talk to them, And you wouldn't believe how many times I've recruited these kinds of people where they're trying to pitch me and I pitch them back. You know what I mean? So it was just, I just thought of that with you guys, because you might always walk past these people on the streets and in the supermarkets. And if they come to the door, you're like, can't wait to get rid of them. But you know what? They are such great prospects. So I would say, you know, pitch them back and see what happens.
Yeah, no, you're so right, Joy. And I'll tell you what, many, many years ago, Boris, excuse me, I've got a bit of a frog. Boris told me, he said, let's go shopping. We went to a shopping mall and we started speaking. I don't know if you remember, Boris, but this is a long, long time ago. It must be at least 15 years ago. We went shopping mall. We started talking to the guys with the credit cards and we started talking to people, shopkeepers. It was an amazing experience. And that's where I learned how to get relationships with anybody you can talk to. But again, particularly these people, remember, they're doing jobs that they hate, but not only that, they're not easy jobs. Who likes standing or knocking on doors? Who likes that? Nobody. That's probably the worst sales jobs out there. So I remember when, yeah, I just followed Boris around and then after that, every time we went somewhere, we always would be going to people and talking to them. And I bet he's done that in Brazil as well, talk to the different salespeople. So yeah, good idea, Joy. Good thing, yeah.
What do you think Nicholas learned from me here for 2 weeks?
Yeah.
How to go to shopping malls and talk to strangers?
Yeah. It's a good way to do it, definitely. It takes courage, but I'll tell you what, if you go with another person with you, you know, it's easier, obviously. If you're doing it on your own, it's a bit harder, but it's good if you go 2 people at a time. Maybe we'll do a bit of that in Dubai as well.
So the thing is, take Boris shopping with you.
Yeah, but you can't always have Boris, so you need to take somebody. Yeah.
What Joy was saying is so true, because it's like all the people that are in sales now, obviously in the UK, in many parts of the UK, you cannot do door knocking, but there are still people dropping Avon catalogs and different catalogs. And again, you can just call them straight away. They drop the catalog. You can pick it up and call them, and they think you're placing an order, and you can have like a coffee, you can have a nice chat, just exactly what Joy was explaining, and you can show them a better way, just a better way, because these people work extremely hard, extremely. I remember I was doing Clean Easy like many years ago. This is like crazy work for like no pay, and it's like those people in many cases are so desperate just to earn, like just to put something in the table. Here in Brazil is the same thing. So a lot of people, they don't have anything to eat. They just come close to you, and all they do is like just mimicking you. You understand immediately. You don't need to know the language. That they're desperate. These people are good people. They just need a better way and better education. And again, you don't need to wait for people to come to your door. You can go to a shopping mall, and it's like it's full of salespeople selling and trying to make a living. Shops, not even in the shopping malls, that their businesses are struggling. They don't have customers coming in. All those people are like open, like for suggestions, how they can improve, how they can do better, how they can increase their cash flow. This is their lifeline. And it's like, if you can show them a way, most of them will be widely open, especially now around Christmas and New Year, because now is the time when people are spending the most money, and then they suffer in January and February because the business is not as strong as usually before Christmas and before New Year. So now it's ideal time for really talking to people. Doesn't matter where you're going to find them, like in business centers, like when you go in shopping malls, in just anywhere that, you know, there is business and people are trying to sell.
Yeah, no, definitely. And that includes everything. I don't know if you guys have been to boot fairs, but I often talk to people in boot fairs because there are a variety of different people that go there. And obviously they're selling their goods from their houses or whatever because they want the money. Think about it. So what better way than introducing them to somewhere where they can actually, you know, make a bit of money, slowly build it up, etc. So yeah, you know, not all conversations will work out all right, but the thing is, the more people you talk to, it's about the consistency. You know, I said to you in the beginning, you know, you could actually set yourself for your own goal. I'll sponsor one person every 2 weeks or one person every month or whatever. But, you know, I said I'd sponsor one person per week. And so far, week 32, I've actually got 31 people. So, you know, I'm just being consistent. And if it takes 1 week, I might not do any, but then I'll catch up the week after. It's about that consistency, though. You know, as long as you're doing it regularly, that's the most.
But even if they don't need to think about how many they're gonna sponsor. All they need is the courage, because if people got the courage, they're gonna get the self-confidence. Then the way they will talk, the way they will express themselves, it will be at a completely different level. So the courage counts more than how many people you're gonna sign.
True.
Because from not being good in the beginning is gonna make you good at connecting and talking to people and just making this discovery process of where people are, why they're struggling, and how you can help them. That's the most important part. And then everything else will become natural. The way you talk, the way you connect, the way you do this. But the first part, the most difficult part is the courage for people to do the first step, to go into approach a stranger or a shop or owner, or this is the hardest part. And this is really the most valuable things that you can take, the courage to do what most other people are not going to be willing to do. This is what is going to separate.
So true. And guys, you can start without agenda, okay? So you get easy, make it easy. Don't have an agenda, just have a conversation. And what will happen, it'll naturally flow into a prospecting situation. But initially, just talk to people. The more you talk to people, the better you get at it. How do you get good at it? You know, if you're racing in a race, or if you're swimming, you do it more often. I don't know how many times I talk to people daily now, you know, strangers, anyone who phones, by the way, I always talk to them. Even I don't know, you guys know that my Barclays was frozen a few weeks ago, and I was talking to all the customer service people. And of course I was talking to them and finding out how they like their job and everything else, you know. None of them came off, but the thing is, I enjoyed the process. So, you know, just enjoy it. Yeah. Talk to the people. Okay, guys, anyone else wants to say anything before we lock off? Look forward to a big meeting tomorrow, 2 p.m. That's going to be really, really, really interesting to see how that all turns out.
I just wanted to say, because I'm sorry, I wish you were on this morning, Boris, because after we listened to the presentation of the red color, but there was still time left, and we asked, you know, if there are some things that people want to talk about, and then one of the members addressed the issue about how to deal with the pandemic and how to talk to people who are strongly, you know, thinking and focused on the things on the pandemic, and how to, because they're not yet open to hyperverse and how to relate it to them. So we talked about it a little bit, but I heard you when you were just talking. I realized I wish you were on it as well, so you could share your view on that. Because I guess I wasn't aware, but I guess there are members in our team that are very concerned about it, and also are talking with people who are very concerned.
There is a saying, Marna, worry doesn't help anyone. If by worrying, like, we can solve our problems or challenges, then it's worth worrying. But worrying doesn't solve anything. So okay, let's look at, you know, a realistic, you know, situation. You know, the only way things can get better if we can get better ourselves. That's been true in the past. This is true today. This is going to be true in the future. So instead of worrying, which is, you know, putting your energy in the wrong place, if people really focus on what's really important for them, what is a priority for them, and whatever this is, like in a personal level, you know, in a professional level, it's all connected with the way they serve, they add value, they contribute more. And again, it's like no point of worrying. There is, you know, this energy can be used sufficiently. And as you have been listening to the compound effect, it's like how we think compounds. How we do things compounds. How we serve compounds. All those things are vitally important because again, it's like we start with a very little, very tiny beliefs in ourselves, and we need to grow this before we can serve at our full capacity. And the only way to do this is to do like the things that are like are uncomfortable in the beginning, regardless if there is a pandemic or you know anything that is. I'll give you an example. When I was in my holiday in Bulgaria, and they asked me if I'll be willing to travel to this city to help them to present. I say, yeah, sure. So they came and they picked me up. And then from one event, it's spurs like I don't know, 7, 8 different events, different cities. And I was going and meeting and shaking hands and hugging people that I don't know. Now, if I was worried about the pandemic or what could happen, you know, and all those things, I would never basically do what I did and have the impact of those people and those families that they had, and like and they're growing extremely strong in a very small market like Bulgaria, extremely strong. I mean, it's like there is almost like 200 people in the Bulgarian group, 175 or 178, and back then there were like less than 50 people. So what I'm saying is like it's easy for us to allow fear to get in, but this is only killing the dreams and the things that are really important to us. So we better focus on the things that we want and stop fearing, because it's like if we fear, like we stop living, we stop our ability to be able to serve and to contribute, and this is what life is all about. So this is my view on the topic. If it's not a pandemic, it's going to be something else, then it's going to be something else. But the people that like we see statues and like we read about them, those are the people that they serve no matter what was happening, what was the environment, and those are the people that we admire and everyone admires. So if we can take a good example from good role models and we do the same things at our level of contribution on a daily basis, we'll be good.
Boris, just wanted to second that. Worrying is not good, but then some people who are in the situation can't stop worrying, and I was one of them. What the difference that I made was I had to open myself up to listening to Derek and saying, what do I do? I've already got problems, okay? In about a month's time, I may be losing my house, as in sell it and downgrade. What do I do? So I made my life uncomfortable. And by saying that, uncomfortable means that I had $500, which I had, I could either pay my bills, or I could either, do something, or join Hyperfund. So what I did was I joined Hyperfund, and I told my wife, I didn't tell anyone. And I said, look, I'm going to take a chance on this. It is probably my opportunity to make a difference. And you know what? We cut down on other things. Maybe the shopping, we started making, I'm not saying everyone should do this. This is what I did. Okay, we went on basics, only to see that this 500 could make a little difference for me. And what a journey it's been. It's the best uncomfortable position that I've been in. It was uncomfortable for a whole month, maybe 2 months. Very uncomfortable, but it is worth it now. So that is my side of it.
Okay, thank you, Anthony. Guys, yeah, we thank you for all being here today. We've had a good over an hour now. So yeah, look forward to seeing you in the meeting tomorrow, and then Sunday night we're having our usual team meeting where we all get together and share and discuss and go through stuff. So that'll be really, really good. So look forward to seeing you all on Sunday. Thank you very much, and good
Thank you all.
to you. Yeah.
Enjoy your day. Thank you.